Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be taking a look at an article from the Boston Globe that was published by the Associated Press by Mark Sherman, Noman Merchant, and Alana Durkin-Richer. This was published on December 11th. Here's the thing. It took 3 people to write this shit. Number 1. Number 2, all these articles came out at just about the same time. This is the one I'm going to be covering though, but I just wanted to show you. They're pushing the same fucking narrative. And yet, these motherfuckers, yeah, this is a foul-mouthed news video if you haven't figured that one out yet. These motherfuckers seriously think people are fucking stupid. They're pushing the same exact fucking narrative. It's like, you know, those videos where you see all those different news stations being put up and they're literally parodying the same exact shit. Same type of situation here. It's like the same narrative. Except for this one and this one, but they're plays on it, okay? So this one right here plays with it. It's Politico, okay? And what they're trying to do is they're trying to condemn the House Republicans for the fact that they realize they're on 2-year stints, all right? They know that they got to constantly try to, at least a lot of them know, that they got to try to keep their constituents happy or at least look like they're trying to. So they actually have to kind of serve the people. The GOP Republicans, the rhinos, the weak-willed establishment hacks, they're going to sit there because they know they get a 4-year term. They think, okay, you know, some of them are on a 2-year, but they think that they can get it through this unscathed. Because there are a lot of them, their seats went up now, so there's only a few, but they think they can get through this unscathed. So they're going after the House GOP for going with the Texas lawsuit that the Supreme Court, as you can see with the title here, Supreme Court rejects Texas lawsuit to overturn Biden's election victory, which that's what the lawsuit wasn't about. It wasn't about overturning Biden's victory. That's a narrative, okay? Which, see, Senate Republicans shun House GOP bid to overturn the election. At least they didn't put Biden's victory. But it's the same idea, okay? KSAT. Supreme Court rejects Texas lawsuit to overturn Joe Biden's victory. Huh. Almost like it's the same exact thing. Look at this. This is, oh my God, is it the same exact AP article, the Supreme Court on Friday? Yes, look, they're pushing the same narrative. They're just copying and pasting like the Boston Globe. Okay, look at here from the Washington Post from via MSN. Supreme Court dismisses bid led by Texas Attorney General to overturn the presidential election results, blocking Trump's legal path to a reversal of his loss. See, they're seriously just going to push this narrative. They're sending things home. They think that they can just sell this narrative and it's going to become fact. Same idea with this one here, you know, with the same talking points, okay? Supreme Court shoots down Texas radical attempt to overturn the election. See, Slate's got to put their extremist type of idea. Oh, look at these extremists, okay? Supreme Court denies effort to block election results in 4 key states that sealed Trump's fate, from Detroit Free Press. All right. Alabama.com. Supreme Court rejects Texas lawsuit backed by Trump to overturn Biden's election victory. Okay. Same thing. They're pushing the Associated Press. Okay. Supreme Court shoots down scheme by Texas and Republicans to overturn the 2020 election. It's a scheme. They're trying to make it sound like that they were playing shady. They were trying to actually do something legal. All right. Or through the legal process, because, oh, heaven forbid, I don't understand how an election that affects the whole country has it to where Texas doesn't have standing when, say, states like Pennsylvania and Michigan and all that get really friggin' shady with their voting standards and violate state and, you know, violate their own state laws and federal laws in regards to elections. How the hell does that not affect every other state? How does that not affect the residents of New Hampshire? How does that not affect, you know, California? And I'm naming off places that voted for Biden because it would affect them. Because how does it not? How does it not affect someone in a red state or a blue state? It affects all of them. Because now, let's just say with these states, you've got people, because, you know, the establishment rhino neocons are just as scummy and shady as the Democrats. What if it's decided it's their turn? These states aren't going to be used to violate the will of those blue states? Huh? Excuse me? You don't think so? But this was the most interesting one because it goes to show. I almost was going to cover this one. Okay. But I'd rather do the other one because this right here goes to show you something. Supreme Court shuts down election challenge. Every Trump-picked justice votes to reject Texas case. Every Federalist Society recommended judge showed that the Federalist Society and them are about the establishment. Okay? They're about the status fucking quo. And these are the assholes that have a monopoly on fucking judge appointments. They're the ones who recommend these judges for the Democrats and the fucking Republicans, the establishment fucking hacks, the rhino neocons, the career fucking politicians. They're the ones that recommend these judges for them to appoint. You don't think that doesn't corrupt our judicial fucking system? Bullshit. This is about the establishment right now. All right. And Gorsuch showed what an establishment fucking hack he is. ACB showed what a establishment hack she is. The other one that Trump appointed, what the fuck is their name? Oh God, I'm having a fucking brain fart. But yeah, I don't know why I can't remember their name. But those were Federalist Society recommended judges that were on Trump's list. They gave him that list to choose from. The only one that looked like she might be legit, and it's probably why the people that had Trump's ear didn't recommend her, was the daughter of the Cuban immigrants there from Florida, La Goya, I think her name was. She was the only one that looked legit, or at least that she could be legit. ACB was ruling for Illinois' unconstitutional lockdown and corporate interests through her career. Stuff like that. Oh. But yeah, they're trying to push this narrative. So let's see what the Associated Press via the Boston Globe has to say here. The Supreme Court on Friday rejected a lawsuit backed by President Donald Trump to overturn Joe Biden's election victory, ending a desperate attempt to get legal issues rejected by state and federal judges before the nation's highest court and subvert the will of the voters. Subvert the will of the voters, excuse me. You know, here's the thing. When you have all these anomalies and everything else that have you questioning the election, you have these, which that's not what this is about, by the way. See, they're trying to paint this a particular way. This has nothing to do with that. This has to do with the constitutionality of how these states ran their elections and how it opened up things for fraud and opened up questionable voting practices. Not only did that, but opened it up so that people who were ineligible to vote voted. There was no signature checks. There were none of these things. They basically undermined the whole electoral process for the country, and they're trying to portray it like, oh, well, legitimate. How if you undermine, because if you have these quote unquote swing states set up to be rigged in either direction anytime you want, how fucking remotely can you sit there and be like, legitimate election, when they've compromised all the procedures that are in place to maintain voter integrity? When that will affect a blue state or a red state, depending, because you know the establishment, they swing shit either way to play to the false people that buy into the false paradigm. So when it's a Republican, because this will end the Republican Party, you had the fearmongers. Oh no, with Biden in the Oval Office, if the Georgia seats go, okay, the Senate seats wanted by Democrats, the far left's going to take over. Okay, that's what you have, like Dinesh D'Souza pushing that shit, that rhino little sleazebag. He's more of he's an establishment Republican, riding the fucking Trump train, grifting, saying that shit, trying to scare people. You got to vote for the Republicans or the far left's going to take over. No, when you have those same Georgia Republicans talking about how, in a Zoom call, getting caught, talking about how they're getting into bed with Beijing Biden. I don't think that's a fucking worry. I think what the worry is that we're going to go back to the same old corrupt bullshit with these assholes selling this country down the fucking river. And Dinesh is fine with that as long as you get two Republicans in. But that's the type of situation we're dealing with here. To subvert the will of the voters? Because how dare you question these things? How dare you want, accountability when you have half the fucking country questioning the election? You want to say a legitimate election, the will of the voters, half the fucking country. Okay, which is, if you've got half the country, that means you've got Republican, you've got Democrat, you've got independents, you've got libertarians, you've got everyone from all walks of political life questioning the shit. The High Court's order was a stark repudiation of a legal claim that was widely regarded as dubious, yet embraced by the president, 19 Republican state attorney generals, and 126 House Republicans. See, this is what's funny. They're talking about it was a dubious claim, yet you have all these people going, yeah, this is pretty fucking shady. Do something. Look at it. Trump had insisted that the court would find the wisdom and courage to adopt his baseless position that the election was the product of widespread fraud and should be overturned. But the nation's highest court emphatically disagreed. That's not what this was about, you sleazy, lying sacks of shit, because they want people to believe that that's what this was about. This was about the fact, okay, that it had nothing to do with fraud. It had to do with the fact of you have all these states agreeing to abide by the U.S. Constitution, okay, yet the 4 states that were being sued by Texas that had all the other states backing Texas, okay, going after these states, all right, we're saying with them that they violated the Constitution, which they did with what they did. They violated federal election laws that were there to maintain integrity. So not only did they violate the Constitution, they violated federal fucking law. They violated their own state constitutions. They violated their own state laws. And the mentality is, well, they just violated their own state shit. That doesn't affect the rest of the country. Oh, really? When you have a national election, how does that not affect the rest of the country? I mean, I might not be the brightest fucking bulb. I mean, by whatever standards, you might want to equate me to. But if you think I'm a fucking moron, at least I'm smart enough to know that's complete horse shit. Trump had insisted that I'm sorry, I already read that. But the nation's highest court emphatically disagreed. That's not what they were disagreeing to. Friday's order marked the second time this week that the court had rebuffed Republican requests that it get involved with the 2020 election outcome and reject the voter's choice as expressed in an election regard by both Republican and Democrat officials as free and fair. I love that one. Friday's order marked the second time this week. So they're trying to pin all these on Trump, and now it's Republican. They can't keep their story straight. And they rejected Pennsylvania, which they had standing. This is what I find funny. They say that these other states don't have standing, but they don't say, but how does when Pennsylvania's lawsuit, how did they not have standing to sue their own fucking state in Supreme Court? This goes to show how corrupt the Supreme Court has become because of things like the Federalist fucking Society. It's disgusting. The justices turned away an appeal from Pennsylvania Republicans on Tuesday. Yeah, which was complete bullshit because they had standing. On Monday, the Electoral College meets to formally elect Biden as the next president. Trump had called the lawsuit filed by Texas against Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin the big one that would end with the Supreme Court undoing Biden's substantial Electoral College majority and allowing Trump to serve another 4 years in the White House. I don't believe he said it was that one, but okay. Sure, whatever. In a brief order, the court said Texas does not have the legal right to sue those states because it has not demonstrated a judicially cognizable interest in the manner in which another state conducts its elections. I love how they're taking that out of context, because if they said the whole thing, they're saying that those states, what they do doesn't affect the election. They cherry pick this one little thing, which is part of them basically saying that, oh, well, the other states, it only affects those states themselves. Just trying to brush this aside because they're establishment friggin' hacks. Justice Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas, who have said previously the court does not have the authority to turn away lawsuits between states, said they would have heard Texas's complaint, but they would not have done what Texas wanted, setting aside those 4 states' 6-2 electoral votes for Biden pending resolution of the lawsuit. Now, at least they're being somewhat honest here. All these other ones aren't even mentioning that last part. See, they were asking for emergency relief to set those things aside. They would have ruled on them after the hearing, but they wouldn't have done it, set them aside right away. And they're trying to make it sound like that they wouldn't have lifted a finger. They just didn't want to do emergency relief. It's not like I trust them to have done the other part, but in theory, they could have. 3 Trump appointees sit on the high court. In his push to get the most recent of his nominees, Justice Amy Coney Barrett, confirmed quickly, Trump said she would she would be needed for any post-election lawsuits. Barrett appears to have participated in both cases this week. None of the Trump appointees noted a dissent in either case. Yeah, none of them wanted to put their names to it. No one wanted to put their names to it. But then we all know what they voted. This is Federalist Society bullshit. We need to get the Federalist Society out of appointing our judges. Because they're for the establishment. They're for corporatism. They're for, like, shady, scummy fucking shit. They're about the establishment, which is pretty much shady, scummy fucking shit. All of it. The 4 states sued by Texas had urged the court to reject the case as meritless. They were backed by another 22 states and the District of Columbia. Oh, so all the Democrats in the states in the District of Columbia went, how dare you? How dare you? Because you know they were all probably involved in shady things themselves. Republican support for the lawsuit and his call to throw out millions of votes in 4 battleground states was rooted in baseless claims of fraud, an extraordinary display of the party's willingness to countermand the will of the voters. Bullshit, bullshit, and bullshit. You've literally got video footage in Georgia of them being these poll workers when there's a pipe supposedly burst, running ballots, stacks of ballots multiple fucking times. Baseless? Video evidence is baseless. They're going to seriously try to sell this and turn it into fucking fact. When half the fucking country does not buy into this shit, when you've got people in the third world going, man, I thought our elections were corrupt. They think that they're going to sell this shit. They think they're going to make this fucking history. They honestly think that this is going to end up winning, this narrative. Because if it was true, if there was absolutely no, the election was completely above board, Beijing Biden won on his merits, like he did, if that was the case, then why do you have YouTube going and censoring all this shit? Why do you have them trying to sell this harder and harder and harder and harder and harder? Because the truth can stand on its own. If this was the truth, then they would not need, if it was a fact, if it was factually true, if that was the case, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. Just saying. House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy of California and Minority Whip Steve Scalise of Louisiana were among those joining in the support of the action. The court has rightly dismissed out of hand the extreme, unlawful, and undemocratic GOP lawsuit to overturn the will of millions of American voters, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Friday night. Excuse me? When you have all these questions about those votes and everything else and the voting machines and all that, you can't say that this was the most secure election. You can't say that what they're trying to do is subvert the will of the people. They're literally trying to protect the will of the people. You sleazy, senile, old fucking alcoholic skank. You booze hound bitch. You false teeth can't stay in your mouth fucking psychopath. Sorry, you're a sociopath. Fuck you. You nasty fucking skank. A few Republicans expressed concerns about the case. Many others remained silent, even as Trump endlessly repeated claims that he lost at a chance at a second term due to widespread fraud. Senator Ben Sasse of Nebraska, a Nebraska Republican who has previously criticized the president, applauded the court's decision. Well, of course he did. He's an establishment fucking cocksucker. Okay? He's on his knees sucking globalist dick. Okay? He's going, oh, that's so good. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going back to the old days. You're going to start paying for me this again, right? You're going to start giving me money, you globalists, huh? You know he's doing that while he's filleting them. Assholes. Since election night, a lot of people have been confusing voters by spinning Kenyan birther type Chavez rigged the election from the grave conspiracy theories. No, that's not what's happened, but every American who cares about the rule of law should take comfort that the Supreme Court, including all 3 President Trump's picks, closed the book on this nonsense, Sasse said in a statement. Fuck you, Sasse, you establishment cocksucking neocon rhino. All right, run through a cornfield naked backwards while spreading your fucking ass cheeks. Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro said the court saw through the seditious abuse of the judicial process. Seditious abuse of the judicial process. I thought our country was built on the idea of checks and fucking balances. So now, looking for checks and balances to work and come into fucking play is now a seditious fucking process, because the Democrats want what they fucking want. The establishment Republicans, okay, who are too weak-willed to stand up, are going along with the fucking program that the neocon rhinos want with them. And how dare you fucking have checks and balances and make sure that shit's legit? That's sedition now. That's what this asshole's saying. Josh Shapiro. Well, these stunts are legally insignificant. Bullshit. Their cost to our country and misleading the public about a free and fair election and tearing into our Constitution is... You wiped your fucking asses with the Constitution, you cocksucking piece of shit. Is high, and we will not tolerate them from our sister states or anyone else, said Shapiro, a Democrat. So you fucking pull your fucking shit. And now you're like, oh, you're gonna fucking, hold up the Constitution after you've wiped your ass with it and it's covered in your shit? Fuck you. In a fair and free election, you had different standards for voters in your fucking state, asshole. In Democrat states, they were treated different than in Republican ones. You had Democrats being allowed to cure their ballots while Republicans weren't, in violation of your laws. A free and fair election. The Texas complaint repeated false, disproven, and unsubstantiated accusations about the voting in 4 states that went for Trump's Democratic challenger. Bullshit! They literally stated what happened. They said, okay, you had this happen in Democratic counties in Pennsylvania where they could cure their ballots. It didn't happen in Republican counties. Proven a fact. You had all these things that were proven a fact that showed how they changed their fucking laws in violation of the United States Constitution. Because legislatures are the only ones that get to say how voting is done in their states. Unsubstantiated. Get bent, you fucking cock-gobbling bitch. I'm sorry. Multiple people wrote this article. It took 3 people to write this fucking shit. Get bent, all you fucking retards. The High Court had never before been asked for such a dramatic remedy. Oh, really? Bush v. Gore. Same exact fucking principle. How they all forget about Bush v. Gore. 2 days after Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton filed his suit, Trump jumped into the High Court case. Hours later, the president held a meeting at the White House, scheduled before the suit was filed, with a dozen Republican attorney general, including Paxton and several others who backed the effort. This is some ridiculous shit. It really is. If this, and I'm not talking about what the Republicans and Trump did. I'm talking about how the Associated Press is framing this shit and how the Democrats are playing with this and everything. All right. We officially, if looking at this point, we are now officially living in a banana fucking republic. We are living in a banana fucking republic right now. If the Supreme Court shows great wisdom and courage, the American people will win perhaps the most important case in history, and our electoral process will be respected again, he tweeted Friday afternoon. Trump had spent the week relentlessly tweeting about the Texas case with the hashtag overturn and claiming falsely that he had won the election but was robbed. Everything is pointing to that. I'm not saying there was widespread. I'm just saying if things look like a duck, walk like a duck, and quack like a duck, it's very well could be a duck. Just saying. In a statement Friday, Paxton called the Supreme Court's decision unfortunate. Still, some of the top state Republican prosecutors who urged the court to get involved acknowledged that the effort was a long shot and sought to distance themselves from Trump's baseless allegations of fraud. The case inflamed already high tensions over the election. West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrisey said his office staff received 2 death threats Thursday after he signed onto the brief supporting the case. So, here's the thing. He signs on, the left does what they do, and they just play it down. You think that was people on the right that threatened them in West Virginia? No. The lawsuit also divided officials in some states. Montana Attorney General Tim Fox supported Texas's case, even though He said the suit was belated and its chances are slim at best. Fox said the case raised important constitutional questions about the separation of powers and the integrity of mail-in ballots in those defendant states. Yes, exactly. And that's why the Supreme Court should have heard it. And I love how they put that down here towards the very fucking end. One of the main fucking reasons of why this lawsuit was brought. For the fact that these types of things violated the fucking Constitution on how they were implemented by these 4 particular fucking states. But Governor Steve Bullock, Democrat Montana, of course, is not going to go along with it, urged the court to reject the case. He said the fact that Texas is not suing Montana, which Trump won. He said the fact that Texas is not suing Montana, which Trump won, even though the state similarly used mail-in ballots, underscores that this action is less about election integrity than it is about attempting to overturn the will of the electorate. Now, here's the thing. Montana had standards they maintained. This is an apples to fucking, dog apples, horse apples fucking comparison. You've got an apple and a pile of fucking shit here. Montana maintained their fucking standards for electoral, absentee ballots, okay? Their population isn't that dense. So why are you making this comparison? It's not a legit one. See, when those states are doing shady things, it is about election integrity, you sleazy fuckwit. Trump's repetition of election-related falsehoods and conspiracy theories has taken hold among far-right media and much of his base. Many Republican voters in several states won by Biden have demanded that their elected officials find a way to invalidate the president-elect's victories. No, they're calling for their states to check this shit. That's not what this is. They want legitimacy. They want the fact of this election to actually be investigated. That's what these people are calling for. They're like, do your fucking jobs. We want this shit investigated. You represent us. But of course, in these Biden-won states, they don't want to do that. The Republican Party of Texas on Friday evening issued a statement raising the far-fetched possibility of secession. Perhaps law-abiding states should bond together and form a union of states that will abide by the Constitution, said party chairman Alan West, the former Florida congressman. See, I love this one. The far-fetched possibility of secession. This country seceded before, or had states secede before. Oh, it's far-fetched. You don't think with this election that there's going to be more of a drive towards something like that? Seriously? You're going to see states get sick of this shit and finally go, fuck you. You're going to have residents of states fed up. And because, at least on the local level, you can still affect change. You're going to have these, like on a state level, or state and local level, you're going to have these people get so fed up that they're finally going to go, you know what, fuck you. We're done. And you're going to see states probably do this. And then you're going to have Beijing Biden go, and you're going to have Kamala signing the orders, because he's so fucking senile, sending the troops in to fucking stop that shit. Which will go and show that they're authoritarian scumbags. If a state dares to do that, they will probably do that, and it'll force their hand, and they'll show what fucking globalist fucking scumbags they truly are. Because they'll go in with fucking force. Even though the court's actions seem to be the end of the road for Trump's legal fights about the 2020 election results, the president's efforts may have a destabilizing effect long after he leaves office. Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, vowed Friday to keep fighting. Yeah, destabilizing process. They're afraid that this shit's still going to get exposed. They just want it all to go away. And if Rudy keeps going with it, oh no, we can't have that. Which, you know what? I would love to see Trump, because he had mentioned this on Bannon's podcast. Bannon had said something to him about him being appointed as a special prosecutor and investigating. I would love to see that happen out the door. Trump do that and just have him fucking investigating shit. Because they ain't going to stop Rudy. At this point, Rudy's done with their fucking shit. Even if he was establishment, he's fucking done. After seeing the shit that went on, them attacking him personally, he's fucking done. He would actually be like a pit bull. He would latch on to shit and he would investigate. So if Trump's out the door, I hope he does something like that. And I think the only way they would stop Rudy would be by killing him. Honest to God. Some litigation may continue, but it will not change election results, said Rick Hansen, a law professor at the University of California, Irvine. The delegitimization of the Biden presidency by Trump and of the election generally will reverberate for years to come, and that's a real tragedy. Oh, so it's not a tragedy when you fucking cocksucking shitbrick fuckwits go and, I don't know, push this Russia bullshit for 4 fucking years and do what you're saying about Biden's presidency? This is what's funny. They fucking talk about lies and bullshit as if it's truth and go after Trump's presidency. You have these honest-to-God questions that are legitimate ones to ask, and it brings his legitimacy into question, and they have a problem with that. Fuck all you all. Seriously. This is the fucking shit that the Associated Press is pushing right now. It's being echoed around, like I showed you, multiple places. You look at the title, how it's overturned Biden's election victory. Oh, that isn't a fucking propagandistic title, or, oh, heaven no. That's that's exactly what he was doing, I mean, come on now. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. Yeah, I'm leaving things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.